Game summary as we hit the fourth quarter here in Orlando. UCF is number 22, and look at the total yardage, 443, 8.5 yards per play. Aaron Murray, it's been fun to watch and impressive to watch. The Knights also have a punt return for a touchdown and an interception return for a touchdown.
Yeah, they've been clicking on all phases of the game so far tonight.
Greg McCray out to midfield. McCray getting some run right now, 6 yards on the carry.
And now you get a bunch of these young guys, give these guys valuable reps. It should be fun for these guys. Now they get a chance at the meeting. Usually in the meetings, they're sitting there falling asleep. Now they get the opportunity to watch themselves, see what they need to do to improve, because you never know late in the season when they need to be called upon.
Vedral, little pump fake, and he goes down at the 49-yard line. Best Western update to New York, Brent Stover.
You got it, 21st ranked Michigan State off that big one at the Big House last week. Handoff L.J. Scott, 24 yards to the house. Second quarter, Sparty leading Minnesota 17-6. Rich and Aaron.
All right, thank you, Brent. Busy night for Brent. Still got another great one to go with San Diego State, number 19 in the country, hosting always good Boise State. That's a showdown in the Mountain West, and that is coming up at the end of this one. So stay tuned for that. There's the new defensive coordinator, Robert Prunty. In his first year as the associate head coach as well. This is McCray, spun around, and he's down to the 35. For more on Prunty, here's Cassie McKinney.
Rich, when we asked Coach Prunty about taking over this defense, he first brought up his family. He's one of 10 siblings, and they lost both their parents at a young age. Lost their dad when Coach Prunty was 10 years old, and their mom when he was in college. Coach said life hit me quick. He told me that was real pressure. This is just football. But what it taught him was that it relates to coaching was to keep scratching, stay tough, but most of all, it will be light in the future.
He had a great perspective and a great outlook on life. You're right, Cass. That was a great line of his. Do you think this is pressure? I'll tell you what pressure is. That was a nice catch there by Alex Harris. And UCF is on the move. And into the end zone is Vedral. His uncle, a teammate of Scott Frost at Nebraska. And the freshman from Wahoo, Nebraska, is in the end zone.
I'll tell you what, these quarterbacks for UCF, whoever their quarterback coach is, he's doing an amazing job down there with these guys. He's nowhere out there doing some great throws, converting third downs, and then a big run right there to knock it into the end zone.
That would be Mario Verduzco, my friend.
Mario Verduzco. I mean, he's coaching some great guys out there. Both those guys have been looking superb tonight.
And where did Mario Verduzco learn to coach quarterbacks? From the late Hall of Famer Bill Walsh, the first college coach for Scott Frost.
Noah Vedral, get his opportunity to come in here, play a first quarter, play in a quarter, looking great, get him in the end zone on his first drive.
And make it their own.
Game coming up, another top 25 team coming up, number 19 San Diego State at home against Mountain West powerhouse Boise State. It's right here on CBS Sports Network. And if you haven't seen Rashad Penny run the football or return the football, he's not lucky, he's great. Don't kick to him. 6 career kickoff returns for touchdown. He at San Diego State coming up here on CBS Sports Network. Boise State, that game as soon as this one finishes in the Bounce House in Orlando, home of the number 22 team. Brown takes a knee. We've been talking about group of 5 teams. Now, San Diego State has some terrific wins. Arizona State, number 19, Stanford. UCF dominated Maryland. Maryland's receiving votes. They dominated Memphis. Memphis is receiving votes. The hiccup there is that UCF did not get a chance to play Georgia Tech. They were hurricaned out, and that game does not have a makeup date. So it looks like they will lose that game and lose that opportunity.
Yeah, it's huge for them. For these guys, it's about who you're playing. And that Georgia Tech team, who's been looking pretty well that year, that would have been a huge win for those guys. But they still have Navy, and the big game at the end of the year versus USF is going to be a fun game. I'm hoping both those teams are going to be undefeated.
Quay Johnson with a nice catch and a nice run after catch. He's out to the 40-yard line. And again, remember, when you talk about Group of 5 and qualifying for the New Year's 6, you have to be a conference champion.
You have to be a conference championship. That's why for this team, for USF, for them to continue to win, and that game to finish the season off, I believe it's here in Orlando, is going to be a doozy. Both those teams have been playing extremely well. A lot's going to be on the line, but we still have a long way to go. There's a lot of football left to be played, a lot of possible upsets.
Amen, because look, we're focusing at the unbeatens. We're focusing on UCF. We're focusing on USF. We were focused on Navy until they lost today. We're focused later on tonight, number 19 San Diego State. But if those teams lose, say in the conference championship game or late in the season, Navy's still alive. Boise State is still alive.
Yeah, all those teams are alive, and there's so much that can go on. I mean, look at last night. We were watching the games last night.
This is Penix, still on his feet, a punishing run. Penix is inside the 40 to the 38-yard line.
You got Clemson losing last night, and they're still not out of it. All these teams with one losses, you never know what can happen. There's a lot of ball left to be played. Another month and a half of football.
Darius Penix. Now, look, there are some positive things to take out of this game for ECU. I know the score is lopsided right now.
Yeah, a lot of positives. I mean, Penix has played well, a young freshman. They've had the opportunity to play a lot of young guys, and that's only going to benefit them, not only this season, but going forward year after year. You're trying to build something here at ECU.
Gardner Minshew misfires there. Minshew is in for Thomas Sirk. And along with that, there's a lot that has to be corrected as well.
There's a lot. You can't just say, hey, we're playing freshman and we got to rebuild. You have to go in and coach these guys. Correct the mistakes. They've been having the same mistakes week after week after week. They got to figure out a way to be a more disciplined football team. I don't care how old you are. You have to play more disciplined.
Minshew, quick pop, Quay Johnson, 32-yard line. We're getting a look at Gardner Minshew, the junior out of Brandon, Mississippi.
I think we're looking at both these quarterbacks tonight, Sirk and Minshew. The key for them is just time. If the offensive line's able to give them time, they've been more accurate. But as soon as you, just like any other quarterback, as soon as you start putting pressure in their face, they'll get a little rattled back there, get some happy feet.
And they need some help from the receivers. Flag comes down, another comes down, a third comes in. And at best, it's a late hit. At worst, it might be targeting. But let's take a look.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, late hit, number 27, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So simply a late hit.
Yeah, for Richie Grant, lucky right now that it wasn't a targeting call, because not only would he miss the rest of this game, but next game as well. He did a good job, though. I believe that was in the shoulder pad area. Stayed away from the helmet.
Yeah, he turned and got him with the shoulder.
Yeah, got him with the shoulder right in the chest. That's a clean hit. Just obviously is a little late, so you get the penalty, but he's still in there playing right now.
ECU on the move. Minshew to the air. Sideline catch, lunge and touchdown. Taj Deans, the freshman, 17-yard hookup from Gardner Minshew.
That's a beautiful throw right there. Cover two. The sweet spot's going to be right about 18 to 22 on the sideline. It's about right where he threw it, right in between the corner and the safety. Puts it right in the money for his receiver. That was a beautiful throw right there. Great job seeing the coverage, anticipating the throw, and put it in on a pretty good line right there, too. You don't want to put it too high to let that safety make a play. Nice little two ball, little bit of arc.
Kick is good. ECU on the board again. Long night for the Pirates here in Orlando, but a touchdown here.
sponsored by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. Go get rewarded now at bestwestern.com. By the makers of 5-Hour Energy. What's your 5-Hour? And by Verizon, the best network and the best unlimited.
2.4 million in the city of Orlando, 24th largest metropolitan area. And we talked about the size of this university and student body. And the Knights, in just the second year of Scott Frost, have rocketed into the top 25. They have young talent, most of it from this state.
Yeah, so much talent in this state. And I think these guys, these recruits, they watch these games and they're just excited to be a part of this offense, to be part of this defense. There's just an energy here in Orlando that these young kids want to be a part of.
Scott Frost, second year, 7 years at Oregon. The last 3 as the offensive coordinator. He was also an assistant at Nebraska, K-State, and Northern Iowa. He credits Chip Kelly with really getting him started on the offensive coordinator track. And the funny story is, he didn't know Chip Kelly until he was on a recruiting trip, and he found himself in the hallway of a high school. They were recruiting a same player. Kelly was there. Frost was there. Les Miles was there. And Miles was, I guess, taking all the time of the coach and the player. And those two guys were sitting out in the hallway just talking. And that's where they struck up the relationship. And that's how he ended up getting to Oregon. This is Richardson on the left side. And he told us yesterday, he said, look, I still feel that Chip Kelly is underrated, and he does not get enough credit, because if you look around college football, he said, just about everybody runs something that Kelly came up with at Oregon.
Yeah, you see so many offenses nowadays. Even at Georgia, my senior year, we started getting the spread up-tempo offense as well, kind of mixing it in. Just when you have these type of athletes, you really try to take advantage of it. But these defenses are slowly starting to pick it up. And so for Scott Frost, for these offenses, they got to continue to evolve, and that's what they've done here at UCF.
Richardson again. We asked him, all right, so you played for Walsh, you played for Osborne, you coached with Kelly. What are the similarities? Because those are all 3 very different type coaches. He said 2 similarities. Get everyone in the building pulling in the same direction is number 1, and all 3 were able to do that, and have a system, not just parts of offense, but a complete system that has an answer for everything that happens in the course of a game. And he felt that Kelly, Osborne, and Walsh all did that. And that's what he's trying to do here, and it sure looks like he's well on to his start. Again, we talked about the influences, coaching influences. Walsh was his first coach. Osborne, he said, is his hero as a coach. Played for Parcells. Remember, he played both offense and defense in the league. And, of course, Chip Kelly. And Cassie had that great story early in the ball game of the phone call from Mike Tomlin. As Scott Frost said that, like, the first week after he got the job, Mike Tomlin called him every day of the week on his way to work. Tomlin was his DB coach in one of his stops in the NFL. And as Cassie pointed out, the best piece of advice was get out of the building. Get out of the building. Let people see you. Don't let all of the responsibilities bury you in an office.
It's tough, though. These coaches, between recruiting, between game planning, there's a lot, and there's only so many hours in the day. And these guys are stuck in there all day watching film, on the phone with recruits. And for him, he's trying to get out and meet everyone, meet the janitors, meet the front office people, see everyone, be a part of this campus. And he's done a great job so far, really building the love and trust from everyone around campus, in the facility, in the locker room.
Noah Vedral on the throw, and Alex Harris has his second catch of the ball game. He walks into an office, and he looks like he can still play. As we pointed out, with Navy coming up next weekend, there's a good chance he's running the scout team this week, because he ran that option and ran it quite well at Nebraska. Vedral's throw right at the 50-yard line, caught there by Cam Stewart. just short of the first down, 9 yards.
I tell you what, this Vedral kid right now, for being number 2 QB freshman, is coming out with a lot of confidence right now. Throwing the ball with confidence, running with confidence. This is something you like to see from your backup quarterback, a guy that really has gotten a ton of snaps this season. We're making the most of him right now.
Richardson the carry, and he busts through for the first down and more. Down to the 39-yard line. Cordarian Richardson, freshman from Memphis.
It's a big running back right now. This defense is worn out. You see it, just missed tackles, guys going in with their shoulders, not wanting to wrap.
But a flag is down. It's back at the 36.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So the holding call is going to back it up to the 46. This is, by the way, Space Night here. The Kennedy Space Center is about a half an hour away from Orlando. And so you've got the NASA emblems on the jerseys, the different color helmets. McCray. Aaron, you grew up here in Florida. Have you been to Cape Canaveral? Have you seen the Space Center?
I have not. I've been to see Mickey and Minnie a few times in my day. Been a good old Epcot.
That doesn't count.
That does count a little bit. I'm only about an hour and a half away in Tampa, Florida. I actually did a little family trip to Epcot, so no space for us.
Space. Look, let's get this straight. Space Mountain
is not the same.
Is not the same.
No, I'm sorry.
It's close.
It's close though. It's a good time.
McCray waiting for a hole, and it opens, and he bursts right through it. Inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. Greg McCray looks good running the ball. Everybody seems to look good in this offense.
Right now, going against this defense, I think you and I can look good going out there running the ball, but I love his patience. He does a great job setting up his blocks down the field, then accelerating once he hits the hole.
That's a 20-yard pickup. Ball sits at the 18. This is one aspect of playing fast that you don't often think of, is a lot of times the team gets to the line of scrimmage, defense is set, ready to go, and the offense will just stand there, and you have to stay ready, on your toes, high alert. If you're on defense, McCray in. Touchdown. 18 yards.
18 yards. Touchdown for UCF.
Into the 60s. Goes number 22, UCF.
Yeah, and right now you just see a tired defense. These guys are exhausted. They can't get off blocks. They're not wanting to make tackles. And we talked about the depth for UCF right now, the skill position. I mean, they've got 4 or 5 running backs right now that have had just amazing nights, have had amazing seasons. And when you can go that deep in your run game, you know you got some special guys on the offensive side of the football. But I think more importantly, it starts with the defense. ECU right now is just physically and mentally worn out from this ball game.
Well, for a team that leads in points per game, leads the nation, this is the most that they have scored all year. They have blown everybody out, including Maryland on the road by 28, Memphis at home by 27, Cincinnati on the road by 28, and a huge lead here, 63-21.
UCF right now continue just to move the ball up and down the field. McCray getting in, putting some more points on the board.
I'm an outdoorsman, so I've asked Chase Sapphire Reserve Card members to find my next vacation. Chili, what's going on?
I'm at the El Tatio Geysers.
Geyser.
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 Enough. Geyser.
Oh!
Dude, be careful.
I think you should come camping.
Why would I camp in the Atacama Desert? Oh.
3 times points on travel and restaurants on every continent. Sapphire Reserve from Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Everybody knows Enterprise picks you up. But can they solve all my transportation needs? Spoiler alert, they can.
You can buy from Enterprise Car Sales.
Sold. Car sharing. That's alarmingly sensible.
We even rent exotics.
That's good, because sometimes Mama wants to drive like a mother. Big trucks are kind of my jam. You guys make me feel so special.
Like a princess?
Exactly.
Rent, buy, or share. How can Enterprise pick you up today?
New Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. Balanced, nutritious, and delicious. With 22 grams of protein, savory vegetables, quinoa and cashews. Together in perfect harmony. New Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. This is fit.
USAA to me means peace of mind. We had a power outage for 5 days total. We lost a lot of food. We actually filed a claim to USAA to replace that spoiled food. We really appreciated that. We're the Weber family, and we're USAA members for life.
If I missed out on chili and cheese, I'd have a bad case of FOMO.
FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
So you're like a millennial? I'm more of a perennial.
Like a plant?
People think I'm dead and then I just show up again next year.
Get the chili cheese or All-American dog for $1 on Wednesday, October 18th. This is how you Sonic.
Coming up immediately following this one, we're headed out to the Mountain West. A big, big game in San Diego. Number 19, San Diego State's powerhouse, Boise State. It's presented by Best Western. And that is coming up here on CBS Sports Network. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell. The Bounce House, well, most of the crowd has bounced out of the Bounce House and is back out to the tailgating. Number 22, UCF, 63 on the board. And it's fumbled at the 1. And if that doesn't sum up the night for the Pirates, nothing will. So 63 points in a variety of ways, Aaron Murray.
They scored every possible way. Throwing a defensive lineman out of the backfield. Pick sixes. They've just been doing it all. Then you got a little punt return as well. And it's just a lot of skill players on both sides of the football. Like I said, you know it's a good night when you're able to get your backups, your third, your fourth string guys in there, and those guys are going out there and making plays for you. So an array of talent on this football team. Scott Frost has done an amazing job of recruiting in this great state of Florida. Once again, I'm a little biased being from the state, but there's just so much talent here. From South Florida to Central Florida, up the Panhandle, there's just an array of guys to recruit to get some great talent to play in this exciting offense.
And look, obviously you've got Miami, you've got Florida, you've got Florida State, but now USF and UCF have really got it going. It's their most points since 2001.
I don't think any of those teams are scoring 63 points a game and having this much fun offensively. I think these recruits nowadays, they love seeing this type of stuff.
From his end zone, Gardner Minshew, 63 push-ups. Look at it, and he needs help, right?
Come on, I saw Rich this morning in the weight room. He got about 70, 80, so I don't know what this guy's complaining about right now.
Well, I think the poor guy's, I think every time there's a score, he's got to...
He has to do that many, yeah, that's true.
So he's the guy that drew 63. You want to be the guy that does the first score of the night.
Touchdown. You're good to go then.
I think the seniors get that. The freshmen get the late ones. That one carried back out to the 2. That's all right. Let's hope for UCF there's many more push-ups to come this year.
It's always a good sign when your cheerleaders are struggling to do push-ups. I mean, you're putting a lot of points on the board. And 63 ain't too shabby, that's for sure.
Anderson's out to the 2. That was a 3rd down and 9. There still are challenges for UCF. Remember, we told you their game against Georgia Tech canceled because of the hurricane. next weekend on CBS Sports Network. They're at Navy. That's a great matchup.
I think the Navy game is going to be a huge challenge. To have 1 week to prepare for that type of offense, the option offense. It's a tough offense. Going against Georgia Tech for 4 years, I knew the challenges that it brought our defense. It's tough to learn how to stop the triple option in 1 week.
Now, they prepared for Georgia Tech, but they didn't play Georgia Tech. And so maybe that's a factor as well, getting ready for Navy. That ball into the sideline of UCF.
Yeah, they've done a great job in spring and camp. They would sprinkle in a little bit, getting ready for that triple option. But until you see it live, until you see that Navy offense live, those guys flying at your knees, it's tough. But
you still have road games at SMU and at Temple, and that showdown here in Orlando against number 18 USF.
It's going to be a fun game versus USF. An exciting football team. Great quarterback over there in Tampa, Florida. I'm just hoping both these teams are undefeated come that last game. I think it's going to be fun to see who's going to be the conference champion.
Sean Pratt is the new quarterback for UCF. And he's welcomed into the ball game with a hit and a scramble for the loose ball. Now you're getting into the third level of reserves.
This has to be fun, though, for these kids. Never thought they'd maybe get a chance to play this season or maybe ever. Now they're getting out there and getting to tell their family, hey, I got to play in a college football game. It's a special moment.
Well, this is homecoming.
The ruling on the field is the runner's forward progress was stopped prior to the ball coming out. Second down.
I think it's a fumble. I think they just want to get this game going a little bit.
I think that's a judicious call there.
I think that's that right there, because definitely was a strip. As a quarterback, any runner, you got to put the ball in your outside arm. If you have it inside like that, it makes it too easy for those defenders to strip it out.
Cedric Jordan Williams getting the 2-yard carry there. Brings up third down and 7. We're under 3 minutes left. Remember, number 19, San Diego State and Boise State coming up in the Mountain West. We'll get you out there as soon as we can. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell waiting. Sean Pratt, third quarterback. This is deep in the bullpen for UCF. All right, we feel comfortable in projecting this as a win for UCF when we look at the standings in the American. Eventually.
Yeah, I think we can clear this a win. 63 points, a lot of points tonight for this offense.
Almost every precinct has reported.
Yeah, I think we're good to go. They've taken Florida by storm, that's for sure.
Offense, defense, and special teams. That's a fourth down run. All right, technically we cannot award the win yet in the American standings, but you're looking at 3-0 in the East. Navy lost today. Memphis with a really nice win. And of course, USF sits at 18. UCF at 22. You would think UCF, with all the wild, wacky stuff that's happened in the top 25, is poised with the convincing smackdown here of maybe polishing that ranking a little higher than 22. The headset is off, so I think now we can call this one for Scott Frost and UCF. ECU going to keep it on the ground. Flag comes down after the play. It's down to 39. It was Hassan Howe with the carry. Been a busy night for Anthony Calabrese and this American officiating crew. Minute 52 left. UCF a convincing 63-21 lead with 600 total yards of offense. 72 snaps.
There's no foul on the play for an illegal block below the waist. Second down.
Glad we got that sorted out. Rashad Penny and San Diego State, number 19. They have impressive wins this year. They took down Stanford. And, you know, if you're San Diego State, you're hopeful that Stanford wins some ball games. If you are UCF, you want Maryland to get some Big Ten pelts.
Correction. There is a personal foul for an illegal block below the waist. Offense, number 86. The 15-yard penalty, first down.
He thought he was off the hook there. Steve Baggett thought he had escaped the long arm of this American officiating crew. And another week of preparation for Scotty Montgomery, and the hope is that from the remains of this one, they're able to gather some positives, make some corrections, and move forward.
There's definitely a lot of teaching moments for this, to get back in the film room. And there was early on in this game, there was a lot of chances to get some first downs, move the ball. They stopped UCF a couple of three and outs defensively. It's just the small things. It's the penalties. It's the drop passes. It's the throwing a slant route just a yard behind your receiver. That this team is that close to kind of being, I'm not saying win these games, but make it a little bit more competitive.
Minshew turns and hands it to Hassan Howell. The sophomore is hit and dropped. As we're under a minute left here.
How impressive this UCF team, though. Offense, defense, special teams. I know we've been talking about it. They've been scoring all over the place, all phases of the game. And this team is just going to continue to get better and better because they are still a very young football team.
That smile sums it up from Shaquem Griffin. About to go 5-0 and probably add to their ranking of 22 in the country. This is Howe, and he gets to midfield before he's stopped at the 50-yard line. 21 yards on the carry, and that should be, it may be, the final snap of this football game. And it is. It looks like the coaches from both sides are headed to midfields. Mackenzie Milton and UCF just impress both sides of the ball for Scott Frost. Defense was outstanding.